posted as required by the Texas Open Meetings Act. We do have a quorum tonight, and the first thing we'd like to do is take a minute for a moment of silence, if we could. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Shane, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for our June 5th, 2018 special board meeting. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for approval. Do we have to do each one individually, Mr. President?
We do.
I make a motion for approval of the June 5th, 2018 special board meeting.
All right. Mr. De Leon has moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hymas. There's no additional corrections to the minutes, and we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is the June 12, 2018 regular board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the June 12, 2018 regular board meeting minutes.
It's been moved by Dr. Reiniger. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Muniz. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. The next item is the June 27th, 2018 minutes of the special board meeting and the budget workshop. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve special board meeting budget workshop minutes from June 27th as presented.
Moved by Dr. Pettis,
Second.
second by Dr. Muniz. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next is the approval of the consent calendar.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Hymas and seconded by Mr. De Leon. If there's no further discussion on this item, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is the public comments.
Move
Mrs.
approval of public comments. I'm sorry.
Ms. Brown? Do we have any, Mrs. Brown? All right, we have no public comments tonight.
Definitely approved.
All right. Moved and seconded by Dr. Pettis. Okay. Next item is item number 5, matters relating to curriculum and instruction. First is the request for approval of out-of-state trip for 2 Stargate Academy students to attend the International Space Settlement Design Competition at Kennedy Space Center in Orlando, Florida on July 27th through the 31st of 2018. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team, and audience. Tonight, we come forward for approval for 2 of our students, students at Harlingen High School who earlier this summer participated in a 3-week academy for students that have an interest in space and space exploration. It was an academy that was sponsored by UTRGV. So our students participated in this 3-week program. And out of the students that participated, the 2 students that were selected to participate in this settlement design concept. And it's a competition that takes place out of Florida. And in essence, a group of students will come together, and their charge is to develop a new space frontier and what a settlement design would look like. So it's a competition that will take place in Florida. We are requesting approval for our students to be a part of this great opportunity.
I move to approve the out-of-state trip for 2 Stargate Academy students to attend the International Space Settlement Design Competition at Kennedy Space Center.
Moved by Dr. Reiniger and seconded by Mr. De Leon. Is there any further discussion or questions? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next one is approval of out-of-state trip for Harlingen High School masonry student to attend the National Leadership and Skills Conference in Louisville, Kentucky on June 25th through the 29th, 2018. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as you will see, the date is June 25th through the 29th, which obviously has already passed. We had an opportunity for one of our students, Jacqueline Medina, who is a student in Mr. Santillan's masonry class. And so she was informed that she had actually received a national scholarship, one of 5 students nationwide that were selected for this recognition. And so she was invited to attend this leadership skills conference in Louisville, Kentucky to participate in the conference, but also to receive this recognition. And so when she received it, there wasn't enough time to come before a board meeting as it was scheduled. And so Dr. Cavazos obviously worked with our board president, and so she went, accepted her scholarship, had a really great time. One of our few girls that participate in the masonry program, Mr. Santillan just raves about her skills. So we were excited to have her have this opportunity to be recognized.
Right. So we're basically retroactively.
Correct.
Okay, well, that sounds great. That's, I think some of y'all actually went to the competition this year, and I know Mr. Santillan has told me this girl is one of the best. He's been here like 30-something years, and she's one of the best students he's ever had. So I think it's really terrific.
She was also highlighted by the Morning Star Slice for Life.
So,
Mr.
Do I-
President, I make a motion for approval of the out-of-state trip for the Harlingen High School masonry student to attend the National Leadership and Skills Conference in Louisville, Kentucky.
Second.
That was on June 25th to the 29th of 2018.
moved by Mr. De Leon and seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further questions? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next is the approval of Texas Education Agency state-approved innovative courses for 2018-2019. Dr. Noyola.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The Texas Education Agency has a number of courses that have been labeled innovative courses. They don't necessarily cover the TEKS that are required by the state, but they are considered innovative. It's new technologies, a lot of new content that's not necessarily part of our skills and knowledge that are required. So the state has a list of these innovative courses which they make available to school districts across the state of Texas. The list that you have before you are the innovative courses that we currently teach in Harlingen. We had these same courses available last year. The state does require that anytime an innovative course is going to be taught, that it be approved on an annual basis. There is one new course that we are introducing this year, and that is the EMT Basic. We are starting our EMT program this coming year, and so that course has been added to our list of innovative courses. Administration recommends approval.
Mr. President, move approval of the Texas Education state-approved innovative courses for school year 2018-2019 as presented by Dr. Noyola.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Pettis and seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is the request for approval to submit to the Texas Education Agency an application for the optional flexible school day program for the 2018-2019 school year. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team, and audience. On an annual basis, we submit an application for the optional flexible school day program to the Texas Education Agency. The optional flexible school day program is a program that Jose Luis Cavazos runs. It's part of our efforts to assist students that are either dropped out or in danger of dropping out or are needing some credit recovery. This program allows us to flex their schedule, so a number of students may come in the evening to try and recover credit and so forth. It's been a very successful program. This school year, we had 42 students who took part in the optional flexible school day program. 31 of those students earned credits, and then out of those 31 students, 19 were able to accumulate enough credits to receive their diploma. So great opportunity for our students. We recommend this evening approval for the submission of this application.
I move approval to submit the Texas Education Agency for the optional flexible school day program for 2018-2019.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Reiniger, seconded by Mr. De Leon. Is there any further questions or discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next items are matters related to business services. The approval of the internal audit plan for 2018-2019. Ms. Nellie Ledesma.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, board members, Dr. Cavazos, and senior staff. Earlier this evening, the audit committee and I reviewed the audit plan for this coming year. I respectfully request your approval of the annual audit plan for 2018-19 at this time.
Mr. President, move approval of the internal audit plan for the 2018-2019 school year as presented by Ms. Ledesma.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Pettis and seconded by Mr. Hymas. Is there any questions? Any discussion? Did a great job tonight. Thank you. It was very, very thorough, very thorough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next one is Mrs. Ledesma also, Internal Audit Quarterly Report. I think that's just this isn't an action item, just a report.
Right, it's just an administrative report. Thank you, Mr. Powers, board members, Dr. Cavazos, and senior staff. The audit committee and I met earlier this afternoon and heard the following 5 audit reports. An audit of PEAMS attendance, accounting procedures, and data quality. An audit of child nutrition a la carte sales, and 3 special activity fund audits for Milam Elementary, Vernon Middle School, and Treasure Hills Elementary.
Okay.
These reports were discussed in depth, and I'm here to answer any questions any of you may have, unless y'all want to just elaborate on what we discussed.
Again, it was a very thorough report, and I think most of us were there, and
Thank you very much.
thank you very much for that. Is there any questions? I know a couple had some things and they couldn't make that, but if there's any question, okay.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Nellie.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nellie. Thank you very much. All right, the next item on the agenda is the consideration and approval of cost of living increase for 2018, 2019. Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 6C is approval cost of living increase for 2018-19 school year. Administration is recommending an $1,100 increase to teachers on the pay scale. Starting salaries for teachers with 0-year experience to be at $48,000 per year. A 2% increase for professionals and a 2.75% increase for hourly staff up from their midpoint. We're also recommending a starting pay for bus drivers to be at $13.15 per hour, up from $12.55 that we had last year. We discussed this a little bit at our budget workshop a couple weeks ago. I'll be glad to answer any questions that the board might have.
Mr. President, I make a motion for consideration and approval of cost of living increase for the 2018-2019 year.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Mr. Hymas. I have a question, and not really a question, but I'm real happy about the change with the bus drivers. Oscar, I know y'all been working real hard on this. This is going to make us very competitive with some of our surrounding communities. Are we equal or higher than some of the others now? Or?
We are actually a little bit higher than some of them. We did have a study done last year which brought us up to market. We're adjusting a little bit higher this year, so it will put us in a very competitive marketplace here in this area.
And I don't know if it's premature or not, but I understand you have some other incentives that you're going to roll out. I don't know if
We
it's-
do. We're planning to bring forward to increase also with the annual stipend for perfect attendance for bus drivers. They get $200 right now. We're proposing to do $400 per semester. We're going to bring that to the board in our August board meeting.
This is a great idea.
I
think
have a
it's-
question, and I agree, Mr. President. I think it's a fantastic idea. On the incentive, do you give it to them at the end of that particular quarter? Or do they
We
have to wait
do.
to the?
Yeah, we give it to them in December, and then in May or June when the
And do you add that into their pay, or is that a separate check?
I believe it's added into their pay. I don't know if it's a separate check. I think it's part of their pay that we include.
And because sometimes when you add it to their pay, you lose a little bit more money on the taxes. So it may be something,
Yeah.
because I know I've heard some
Sure.
concerns on it. Maybe it's something that they have a separate.
Well, we can absolutely look at that for the teachers for the perfect attendance. We cut them a check for perfect attendance. We can do the same thing for the bus drivers.
And with
I
the
think,
teachers, do you cut it separately, or is it added to their?
separately. Yeah.
I think to be consistent and transparent
That would be
across the
great.
board, do it all the way around
I
on
think
those
that's a
sides.
good idea.
And
We
they
can
hand it
certainly
out
do
at
that.
a meeting or
That's
something
exactly
so
right.
people can see.
That's a
We
great
can certainly
idea.
do that.
Great idea. How many, we're in the process of hiring right now drivers, right?
that.
Yes.
How many spaces, open slots do we have?
So we've currently processed about 5 recommendations, getting ready for the new school year, and so current vacancies is about 5.
Okay, good.
But we are really excited because they're coming in, and so as a matter of fact, I saw another one in my inbox this afternoon, so.
You're getting a lot of
we're getting-
applications, the word's out?
We are, yes, sir.
Good.
Yeah, so we're very pleased. Great applicant pool, and with this information going out, we anticipate more and more applicants, so we're very excited.
Well, congratulations to Julio, to you and Oscar, because
Absolutely.
this was something, y'all jumped right on it, and I think it's a great motivational plan.
Mr. President, if I could.
Yes, sir.
Are the bus drivers also eligible for the attendance situation as well?
Didn't hear.
Yeah, for the attendance
Yes,
incentive,
yes,
yes, sir, and we're gonna be doubling that amount from 200 to 400 per semester.
Awesome. Well, I think that's another, and I don't know what their participation rate, I'm sure you don't know off the top of your head, but I bet you they do, I bet
Yeah,
you they're
we-
one of the good participators, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, so we
So
have
that's a
about
big- that's a
90
big deal.
90 bus drivers, and we had like about 38 the first semester, and probably about 20 the second semesters. Because we, if they meet the first semester, then that's
Sure.
one stipend. Then the second semester, they start over, and if they meet that, then they also collect on that.
I just-
So we plan to announce all this also at our kickoff, so that the bus drivers know going in, they're gonna be actually competing for the $400 per semester.
And I like what you said, Dr. Cavazos, where when they get the individual check, you kind of have a little something for
Oh, yeah.
them, because it's something
It's
tangible
public.
that
Yeah.
aside from the salary itself. And I think they'd appreciate that. And I'm confident that the retention is gonna go up on that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we know.
All right.
Another, I know, I'm sorry, just
No,
because
no,
we're
no,
so,
please.
just another kudos to, I know this is the second year in a row, at least we've done this in terms of a little differential increase for the hourly rates, and I just want to thank you for that, Dr. Cavazos and Julio, because I think this is a good deal. I mean, as long as we can continue to do these kinds of things year by year, and then I really feel that it's a fairness issue, and I really feel that it really does, I think, impact the culture of these campuses when they are rewarded, a little bit more than, and because, their salary differences, there's a big difference, right? So the percent to them, 2% and I don't have to explain to you, but I mean, I think this is, if we can, whatever, again, I'm just one board member, but I think that this is a smart thing to do from a culture standpoint and from a fairness issue, and so I just thank you for doing that.
Sure, and just, one of the key indicators as we build our budget is our health insurance. So we had an employee benefit committee earlier today, and we're looking at about a 3% increase, which is within our budget, and that's where we're able to do these cost of living increases for the staff.
Thank
So I
you.
think as long as we can maintain that health insurance under control, we can continue with this cost of living increase.
And with our starting salary, we're
We're
extremely
gonna be
competitive
competitive.
with everybody,
Yeah.
top end of the district. That's great. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All right, if not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's see, the next item is matters relating to human services with the approval of revisions to policy update 110 on second reading. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members. We bring for your consideration and possible approval recommendations and revisions regarding Update 110 on second reading. This policy was a singular policy that addressed guidelines regarding board elections, specifically dealing with membership, methods of election, dates, election schedules, and methods of voting. Administration recommends approval of Update 110.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move to approve the revisions to policy update 110 on the second reading as presented by Dr. Noyola.
It's been moved by Dr. Reiniger, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Hymas. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of revisions for policy EIC local on first reading only. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President. We bring for your consideration and approval recommendations and revisions regarding policy EIC local. There was one adjustment that was made, and that was the inclusion of U.S. history for dual enrollment. In the past, we had not offered U.S. history for dual enrollment credit because one of the requirements is that any teacher teaching these courses had to have a master's degree in U.S. history. Up until now, we hadn't had a teacher that had those credentials. However, in the last few weeks, we were able to hire a teacher at Harlingen High School that does have a master's in U.S. history. And coincidentally, we also had a teacher at Harlingen South that just finished up her master's in U.S. history a few weeks ago. So now that we have those teachers available, we are bringing that forward as a change in EIC local. You'll notice that it's on first reading because the next board meeting won't happen until after school starts. And so we're bringing it on first reading to have it available by the first day of school.
Great idea. Super.
Mr. President, I make a motion for approval of the revisions of the policy EIC local on the first reading only.
Second.
Moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next is matters related to district operations. Approval of the final construction payment to, is that canceled? Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of final construction payment to Kalin's Physical Security Solutions for the video surveillance system upgrades at Keys Academy, Early College High School, and Secondary Alternative Center. And that is Mr. Tapia.
Thank you, President, Board President Powers. Is this on?
Yes.
Members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, audience, senior team members. We're bringing before 3 final payments for projects that we have completed. The first one is final payment to Kalin's Physical Security Solutions for the video camera surveillance systems at Keys Early College and Secondary Alternative Center. The project is complete. Engineers have reviewed it. Staff, punch list, everything, it's in working order. So we're recommending final approval to Kalin's in the amount of $152,406.91. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Mr. President, I move for approval of the final construction payment to Kalin's Physical Security as presented.
I have a motion from Dr. Muniz and a second
Second.
from Dr. Reiniger. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of final construction payment to Kalin's Physical Security Systems for the video surveillance system upgrades at Coakley, Gutierrez, Vela, and Vernon Middle Schools. Mr. Tapia?
President Powers, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, similar type of item. This one is final payment in the amount of $47,560.05 for Kalin's for the upgrades we did to Coakley, Gutierrez, Vela, and Middle School. Same thing, project is complete. We've verified all the work. Everything's in working order, so we recommend final approval of the final payment.
President, move approval to Kalin's for the video upgrades at middle schools as presented.
Moved by Dr. Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of final construction payment to Central Air and Heat Systems, Inc. for the HVAC upgrades at Harlingen High School. Mr. Tapia.
Board President Powers, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos. This is the final payment we're presenting today is for the Harlingen High School air conditioning upgrades that we did this past year to CAHS Incorporated in the amount of $153,822.15. Again, project's been reviewed by the project engineer. All punch list items have been completed, and we're seeking final payment so we can close out this project.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the final construction payment to CHS Incorporated for the HVAC upgrades at Harlingen High School.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hymas and seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next one is consider endorsement of TASB Board of Directors for Region 1, Position A. Dr. Cavazos. Or is that me?
That's you.
That's me. Oops. Okay. Sonia, you want to help me out here?
It should be in this next page after your,
It's under item number 11?
yes, and it's,
No. Let's see. Item,
Trisha Ocaña Olivares is
item number 9. I don't have anything under that. There's no- What is it? What page?
So you have it in your packet, 150. Just get to it.
Okay, the candidates
So
are,
it's only one candidate.
okay. Oh, we had just one candidate. Patricia, the one candidate that's being submitted is Patricia Ocaña Olivares from Mission CISD. So,
Is that a motion for approval?
Yeah, you have to.
yes, we need an endorsement, so it'll be a motion.
I make a motion for approval to consider endorsement of the TASB Board of Directors for Region One, Position A. What's her name again?
Patricia Ocaña Olivares.
Patricia Ocaña Olivares.
I second.
All right, moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Dr. Reiniger. Is there any further questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The endorsement's unanimous. Okay. The next item is adjournment into closed or executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082, the Open Meetings Act for the following purposes. Number one, discuss employment of discuss employment of Director of Talent Acquisition and Development. Discuss employment of Assistant Principal for Talent Reserve. Discuss employment of Assistant Principal for Coakley Middle School. And discuss employment of teachers and other professional staffs. At this time, we are adjourned into closed or executive session. At this time is, it's 7:29, and we're back into regular session. The first item is to consider employment of Director of Talent Acquisition and Development.
Mr. President, make a motion for approval of the employment of the Director of Talent Acquisition and Development as requested by administration.
Second?
Moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Mr. Hymas. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is consider employment of Assistant Principal for Talent Reserve.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the Assistant Principal for Talent Reserve as presented by administration.
Moved by Dr. Reiniger. Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
Second by Dr. Pettis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next item is consider employment of Assistant Principal for Coakley Middle School.
Mr. President, I make a motion to consider the employment of the assistant principal for Coakley Middle School as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hymas, seconded by Mr. De
Mr.
Leon.
Mhm.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The last item, consider employment of teachers and other professional staff.
Motion, Mr. President, to employ the teachers and other professional staff as recommended in executive session.
I have a motion by Dr. Pettis, seconded by Dr. Muniz. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. We stand adjourned.